just finished one period with year 12. They've been continuing to cut up their cabinetry. One group there, one group here, so they can build a kitchen cabinet. I'm using the new track saw that I got. Even though I was helping out by just holding the track still, it's good that they are able to cut up materials themselves. Know that this is the sort of stuff that a cabinet maker or a kitchen cabinetry person would use. Cutting up parts and assembling on site, building stuff to order rather than buying just a set and putting them in. It's now recess, I've got them again. After recess, we'll see how far they get, because I want to try doing some assembly stuff. Second lesson done. We got one set all ready to go to be assembled. One set that has the cabinet assembled, still needs to put the drawer in, door, all the kitchen adjustable legs, and I'll do the edge stripping on it. It's an expensive assessment. One sheet of plywood per class, plus the stripping, the legs and the hinges and the handles and all that sort of stuff can be reused, but the actual material, once that's done, it's taken apart. I could probably use it for other small things, but chipboard's not the best or most versatile stuff around. $50 odd each. Why did I pay 45? At 45 per group. Luckily this is a small class and there's only 2 groups running together. Close to $100 of materials that'll won't be used again. You gotta use stuff to learn, don't I? There's Batman. Hey Batman. Sunday, beautiful sunny day. Because we've had so much sun and rain, I've got to go do some mowing or weed whacking of the yard. One of the things about the sun here is we get a really high UV index. Today's UV index is 9, like very high. So even though it's warm, I've got to wrap up completely because I don't want to get sunburnt. Backyard done. The whole yard, front and back, was 2.5 tanks of fuel. I really need a mower. This takes too long. Latest update on here, like the stairs are done. I've pulled out as much of the gravel as I can out of there, like up against the fence, it's still a bit there. But we're going to take these big plants out. My wife has space thought out for them out the back, and just replace them with these grasses, which alternating the quarter lines, which when you look at how big that one is there, and they started at that size, they'll be able to grow out without encroaching on the pathway as much as like these large yuccas and stuff are going to. They've already grown out further than we wanted. Here's the new look. The stairs on the side. The quarter line all planted out up the side garden. They should bloom out, hopefully. Grow out like the other ones we've got. All of those will go somewhere else. Let's see if this microphone works at picking this up. Just finished with year 12. We got 2 cabinets now going together. The third one here being marked out. People who've been away on work placement are now back in. Interesting to try and find space to put big things like this, especially when I've got year 11 period 4. This is just the end of period 2. It's recess now. I'm going to pack up. I've got to do a student interview with one of my staff, a student who's being a little bit of a problem in their class. So we need to have a meeting with the head teacher and see where we can go from there. Kicking back, so we can nest up there. Just finished with year 11. Year 11 are making mallets. I've done my demo on how to put the head together. A little bit of marking out, getting the shape of the handle. The handle shape is really just something for comfort for them. Like I said, I'm assessing them on how they work, whether they're working safely. Today's lesson, I was just observing and watching, which is what I'm supposed to do, and just giving assistance or guidance, instruction where able, where necessary. I've noticed my handle's gone a little bit crooked into the head, and my OCD is going to hate that. It's glued and nailed now, so I'll have to live with it. It'll still work as a mallet. There's no assessment against exactness on this. It's just assessing them on safety, which is good for them as a first assignment. The old course, the first assignment was horrible. Kids were just failing it. I had kids get through to year 12 who still hadn't passed the prac for the first assignment because it was just so specific, intolerances and things. But this one's done. It's now lunchtime. It's now 36 degrees. This room's actually not too bad with the fan on. We left the door down today, the big roller door. You'd think that would radiate a lot of heat into here, but it actually stayed pretty cool, so that was good. Time for lunch. I got year 10 after lunch. Just finished with year 11 now. Stuff is still out, which is fine because I've got them straight after recess as well. They're working on the shaping of the mallets. My example, 1, 2, 3, 4 students who've got the mallet head glued together, so they'll be shaping it next period while the others are still working on handles and getting their pieces together. And again, this class has been really good. They're working really well together. I really hope that that persists with this group because their cooperation is awesome. Couldn't really ask for better. It's too early to be doing this. 5:45 in the morning, catching the train again to go into Sydney, this time to Ultimo for a metals training upgrade for vet metals and engineering. Mandatory upgrade, so I've got to do it. 3 days, next 3 days. Got down here a lot earlier than I needed to, but I can't afford to miss the train. I've got to be in the city or at the Tafe by 8. Slept like crap. I think because my body knew I had to get up early. Awake at 1, wait at 2, 3, 3:30, 3:40, 3:50, 4 o'clock when I had the alarm set. But I'm ready. Lunchtime. It's been a slow, interesting enough process so far. I'm just sitting out in front of, or in between some of the Tafe buildings. Behind me is like one of the old original buildings. Directly opposite me is the building I'm in, which is a mix of modern and old architecture. It's like they've got a building kind of like this, and they've built around it with some modern architecture, and it seems to have all of the engineering, automotive, mechanical, drafting, all that sort of stuff in there. We're making what's known as a scratch gauge or a marking gauge, this sort of thing. We're only about halfway through it, and I think it was when we were sitting there about to do the thread cutting that I remembered that I'd made one for Dan Brent in a Fools for Tools
treasure trade about a year ago. Except this one's made out of mild steel. This area here, it's almost like a large avenue type thing. Trees down either side, loads and loads of seating. And everybody from the Tafe just seems to be out here having lunch. A lot of people walking through, probably going through to other areas. Apparently there's an eating area or food hall up in some other building. Not doing any welding until Friday, so I might not need to carry the helmet in today. May not need it tomorrow.
Train chaos. The trains are just going nuts in Sydney. And some communication errors and the drivers not available. Just stood around for like that part of 45 minutes to try to find out what's going on. The board's setting up and the place just looks like chaos. But finally there they moved this train forward. Out of my way for that very quickly so I can get to sleep. Hopefully it stops at my station. As long as I'm getting up mountains. Made it back to my station. Dozed off a few times. I wouldn't like to have to put up with that sort of thing happening on a regular basis. It should probably doesn't, but it's a real kick in the teeth at the end of the day. People just all over the central station just not knowing what's going on. I was like tired as usual. Doze off on the train a bit. Fight to stay awake as we got closer to my station. When we pulled out from the station next to before ours, got up so that I would not doze off again. I was the only one in my carriage. It was very surreal. Gonna do it all again tomorrow. Another morning, another day into the city. I remembered my glasses today. Almost forgot them because I locked the car and started walking away from them. I was too busy organising my stuff into a better bag.
Jason. Who's Jason?
Day 3 of ridiculous hours. Yesterday was good. I don't know if I've even talked about it yet. We did a day on locksmithing. Understanding the mechanisms of the internals of safe locks, barrel locks with tumblers, with little pins, letterbox locks, how to gain access, how to dismantle and put back together a lock. And I think it was all to do with the engineering and mechanisms side of manufacturing and engineering. And we even taught the lecturer something, because he was a locksmith, about the fact that why are they brass parts and steel parts? Brass parts are self-lubricating and they don't rust. So it was a really great day. It was interesting. Another long one, but it was really interesting. Again, fell asleep on the train. I woke up and recognised stuff that was after my station. Just got off at the next station that a train was coming to. Just waiting for a train. Meant to be running about 10 minutes. Today we made a toolbox sheet metal project using heavy gauge sheet steel.
The next train to arrive on platform 1 goes to Central.
We didn't do any welding. I'm so glad I carried my welding helmet back and forth to the city for 3 days. And gloves. The only thing we couldn't do with our toolbox was make aluminium for 2 days ago, Wednesday. But the only thing we could do with the toolbox was add those aluminium handles because they didn't have the ground bar that we needed to actually make the loop of the handle. I'm not excited home if I've got it at school to finish this off. That's why I'm glad that these boots have a steel plate in here.